to speed with all the day's top business news. Kate Moody's here with us in the studio. Hi there, Kate. Kicking off with some optimism about global economic growth this year.
Hi, Laura. Yeah, the International Monetary Fund has raised its global forecast for growth from 3.6 to 3.7% for the coming year. Now, that doesn't seem like a huge change, but it may be a sign that the tide is turning. The US forecast was upgraded about 0.2%. China, the world's second largest economy, expected to keep powering ahead, but a bit slower than the 7.7% growth rate that was reported yesterday for 2013. The UK in particular saw its forecast raised about half a percentage point to 2.4. Germany still leading the Eurozone. France not looking very strong, with the IMF forecasting its growth will stay under 1%, and Italy and Spain lagging behind. The IMF's chief economist warning the recovery will remain weak and uneven, and highlighting the risk of deflation. Now, many of those concerns will also be on the agenda in Davos, where more than 2,500 business leaders, politicians, academics and celebrities are gathering for the World Economic Forum. Joining those headliners is our very own business editor, Marcus Carlson. He told us earlier that while political issues like Syria and Iran threaten to overshadow the summit, the global economy still gets top billing.
Growth will be up for discussion, this at a time when the Eurozone is still in dire need of growth. The American recovery is stronger than the European one. Still, though, there are a few question marks to be sorted out, to be straightened out when it comes to the American economy. Also, let's not forget about the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. All of them have seen their growth levels come down in the past year or so, which has sparked some concern. We're going to hear from the Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff here in Davos. And in connection with that, we're also going to be hearing from the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Let's take a look at the markets now. We saw a mixed close in Europe despite some earlier gains as China's central bank announced that it had injected funds into the banking system. Here in Paris, the French power and engineering firm Alstom saw its shares plunge almost 14% as it lowered its annual profit targets. We're seeing a similar mixed story on Wall Street. The Dow fell 100 points in midday trading. Investors taking a cautious view of some mixed corporate results there. Now, here in France, the President François Hollande has been pushing his so-called Responsibility Pact, the plan to slash payroll taxes for companies that promise to hire more people. He hopes the incentives will keep France's struggling economy from sliding back into recession and bring down the nearly 11% unemployment rate. The details will be hammered out during negotiations with business and union leaders beginning next week, and some have expressed reservations about whether the plan will really work. Claire Murphy reports.
Proposals under the microscope as French companies try to work out how they can respond to the latest drive to tackle high unemployment. This company makes furniture for restaurants. 27 years in existence, 17 employees. Mikel arrived last October.
He's the most recent arrival in the company. He's replacing someone who'd been here for 5 years.
When's the last time you created a job?
It was in 2009.
So with practically no new hires in 5 years, management fears it can't respond to government demands.
The only way to create jobs is to have an order book that's growing and wealth creation that's increasing. Since the 2008 crisis, our order book hasn't really changed.
François Hollande has promised firms will be completely exonerated from contributions to family benefit funds by 2017, a total volume of tax breaks estimated at around 30 billion euros. But the figures still don't add up for this company.
You don't start hiring just because social charges drop by 5%. Today you'd need a drop of 25 or 30% before you could start taking people on.
Companies in France currently pay the highest payroll taxes in Europe. Employers' organisations have praised government proposals to ease the burden, but warned that new obligations and penalties on businesses will see the so-called Responsibility Pact fail.
There has been good news for at least one French firm. The automaker Renault said its sales rose over 3% last year, thanks in large part to strong demand for its low-cost Dacia brand. More than 40% of sales came from those so-called entry-level vehicles, and Dacia sales surged 19%. Though the overall car market in Europe is still struggling, Renault did see sales up 2.7% in Europe, but about half its total sales came from international buyers. Like its French rival Peugeot, Renault is trying to tap into the Chinese market and is partnering with China's Dongfeng Motor Group to introduce locally assembled cars there. And a nearly $4 billion deal between Boeing and General Electric. GE's Capital Aviation Service has confirmed it's leasing at least 40 aircraft from Boeing. The new planes are expected to help meet customer demand for more fuel-efficient aircraft. Boeing says its next-generation 737s offer the lowest operating costs in its class. I'll be back with more business news in the next hour. For now, it's back to you, Laura.
Kate, we look forward to that. Thank you very much indeed. Let's turn our attentions to sports now. Dan Levy's here with us. Dan, we're going to kick off with